point, it's over. That whole Sky Barbie thing, that thing is over. Angel Reese is done in Chicago. They're going to move on. They have to. With what Courtney Vandersloot just came back and said, Courtney Vandersloot just smoked Angel Reese. And you know who else is going in on Angel Reese? You got Nightcap with Unk and Ocho, Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson going in on this Angel Reese situation. She didn't think it was going to go this way.
If you're going to go at a legend, you better not miss. As we know, Angel Reese come out this week. She absolutely crushed her own teammates into the dust. And she even decided to go after a legend. The legendary Courtney Vandersloot, who, of course, blew out her ACL at the beginning of the season. And she is in the midst of making a comeback. And, of course, Angel Reese made some comments that were none too kind to a legend. Angel Reese will be lucky if she has.
Okay, this is wild. Courtney Vandersloot has spoken, and let's be real, it wasn't subtle. When a 5-time All-Star and 2-time champ fires back at Angel Reese, you just know this rookie-turned-sophomore storm is officially out of control. Seriously, the Sky locker room isn't just fractured, it's leaking. So here's the burning question, is Angel Reese already burning bridges faster than she can build them? Because let's face it, Angel Reese has been at the center of controversy since the day she stepped into the league. From the LSU drama to her WNBA arrival, she's definitely thrived on chaos. But now, that act is wearing thin. Why? Because when you aim at legends like Courtney Vandersloot, you better hit, and Reese's shot, well, it fell flat, badly.
Rookie team. Angel will not have the career that Courtney Vandersloot has had. She won't. You know why? Because I don't think the league's going to tolerate her long enough. She's going to run her mouth until she just ends up jumping from team to team until she does what I think she should do right now.
Now hold up, because Courtney Vandersloot is not some random role player. We're talking about a 5-time All-Star, a 7-time assist champ, and a 2-time WNBA champion. Her resume speaks volumes, way louder than any Instagram post or sideline gesture. And yet, here comes Angel Reese, tossing out comments about Courtney's age, her durability, and even questioning whether the Sky can truly rely on her return. That's not just shade, folks. That's an open slap at one of the most respected vets in the game. And you have to ask yourself, why would Reese even go down this road? She's barely completed her 2nd season as a pro. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, her rival turned league draw, is already cementing herself as a franchise centerpiece for Indiana. But Reese, she's busy turning her own locker room against her. Not exactly the recipe for leadership, is it?
I don't know, Angel Reese. This is what Courtney Vandersloot had to say. She's firing off. Angel Reese, you got her twisted. She said, contrary to what people think, what people say or think, my age is actually not a factor. I am coming back. This is after Angel Reese said, yeah, Sloot is old. We need somebody young that can do this, that got some experience, but we need somebody young. She too old. I don't know if she can come back from that torn ACL.
And it wasn't like Courtney was asking for sympathy either. After her ACL tear, she was grinding her way back, doing intense rehab, pushing through workouts, and giving interviews where she made it absolutely clear she was determined to return stronger than ever. The last thing she needed was her own teammate, or supposed teammate, suggesting she's washed up, but that's exactly what Reese did. And here's the kicker, she did it publicly, in an interview. This is the part that makes veterans roll their eyes. You know, it's one thing to gripe in the locker room or vent frustration after a tough loss or even clash behind closed doors. That happens everywhere. But Reese took it to the media. She basically announced to the basketball world that Courtney Vandersloot is too old and that the team shouldn't count on her. That's the kind of move that absolutely kills trust instantly. And this is where Courtney's clapback hits even harder. When asked about her future, Courtney didn't dodge a single question. She said, point blank, contrary to what people say or think, my age is not a factor. I'm coming back better than ever. That, my friends, is a direct counterpunch to Reese. No dancing around it, no passive-aggressive subtweet. Just a straight shot back saying, "Don't question my game, don't question my age, and certainly don't question my career." Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Courtney Vandersloot has built her legacy. Angel Reese is still trying to build her, and instead of focusing on her own growth, she's swinging at people whose accomplishments she hasn't even sniffed yet. Courtney has more championships than Reese has playoff wins. And no, that's not an exaggeration.
I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy, but it shouldn't shock me coming from this fan base at all. Oh, but she's on video now, and she's made a direct shot. Courtney has answered the shot from Angel Reese. And I got to be honest with you. How much I'm going to speculate out loud. How much shit was Angel Reese talking in that Chicago Sky locker room last year around Kennedy Carter about Caitlin Clark? All right, think about that a minute. The influence there. I got to tell you, I don't think it was Kennedy Carter that blew that locker room up. I think it was Angel Reese.
Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, yes, the player Angel Reese fans love to compare her to, is handling her second year with a completely different approach. Clark deals with fouls, physical play, and constant targeting, but you don't see her throwing teammates under the bus. You don't see her suggesting veterans are unreliable. What you do see is her pushing Indiana forward, even with setbacks. That right there, that's the difference between marketing hype and true franchise leadership.
And I'm going to tell you right now, Courtney Vandersloot has won a title in Chicago, and she will not be playing with Angel Reese next year. I'm going to tell you that right now. Angel Reese is good as...
But back to Reese, because the suspension drama, that's just the cherry on top. Suspended for a half? That's not discipline. That's comedy. The Sky basically told the league, look, we can't control our stars, so we'll bench her for 20 minutes and hope she behaves. Nobody respects that. Not the fans, not the players, not the media. Courtney's response didn't just put Reese in her place, it reminded everyone what professionalism looks like. You've got a veteran who's fought through injuries, earned rings, and still speaks with determination, versus a young player who's letting her mouth run faster than her actual development. That contrast couldn't be sharper. And let's talk fan bases for a second. Reese's supporters online are absolutely brutal. They went after Courtney personally, dragging her, insulting her, and completely downplaying her career. It's nasty, it's childish, and it reflects poorly on Reese. Because like it or not, your fan base becomes part of your brand. Caitlin Clark's fans build her up, while Angel Reese's fans tear others down. That, my friends, says a lot. Courtney doesn't need Twitter wars or Instagram reels to prove her worth. Her career speaks for itself, and that's exactly why her measured response lands like a hammer. She didn't need to scream, she didn't need to rant, she just stated the obvious. She's coming back, she's not done, and her age isn't a problem. Meanwhile, Reese just looks like the one creating problems out of thin air. Now here's the irony. Reese keeps talking about wanting better players around her, wanting to win championships, wanting to elevate Chicago, but what top player wants to join a team where the supposed star forward publicly disrespects veterans and throws shade at legends? Free agents notice that stuff. Why would you ever sign with a team where the locker room feels like a reality TV set? And let's be honest, Chicago Sky management isn't innocent here either. They've let this mess fester. That half-game suspension screams weakness. You either stand by your player or you hold her accountable. Doing both just makes you look like clowns. The front office looks spineless, the coach looks powerless, and the team looks directionless. Add Reese's drama to that, and you've got the perfect recipe for a wasted season. And while we're being real, let's just call it what it is. Angel Reese is no Caitlin Clark. Not in leadership, not in production, and certainly not in how they carry themselves. Clark is already the face of a franchise and a league driver. Reese is still figuring out how not to alienate her teammates before the season even ends. This comparison, frankly, only embarrasses her further. Now, does Reese have potential? Absolutely. She's a rebounding machine. She brings energy, and she fights every possession. That's real value. But the WNBA is unforgiving. If your baggage outweighs your production, teams won't hesitate to move on. And right now, Reese is walking that line dangerously close. Her suspension didn't just raise eyebrows, it raised the question, does Chicago even know what it's doing with her? A half-game benching is the type of punishment you give to a high schooler, not a professional athlete. It shows the Sky are trying to walk a very thin line, keep Reese on the court because she sells tickets, but pretend they're disciplining her because the locker room is imploding. That's not leadership, that's pure cowardice. Courtney Vandersloot, on the other hand, has shown what leadership looks like for over a decade. You don't rack up 7 assist titles by accident. You don't win championships by accident. You do it with consistency, accountability, and undeniable professionalism. When she went down with her ACL injury, she didn't whine, she didn't blame teammates, she went to work, and now she's on the comeback trail. Reese could learn a lot from that example, if she were just willing to listen. But here's the problem, Reese doesn't seem interested in listening. She seems more interested in controlling the narrative, whether it's through her comments, her fan base's online wars, or her on-court antics. It's always about Angel Reese the brand, not Angel Reese the player. And when you're a sophomore in the league, with no playoff success, that balance looks really bad. Contrast that with Caitlin Clark again. Clark has faced brutal fouls, constant targeting, and non-stop criticism from opposing players, the media, and even former stars. But her approach: focus on her game, focus on her team, keep pushing forward. She's not perfect, nobody is, but she understands that leadership is about more than just highlight reels. It's about how you carry yourself in adversity. Reese just hasn't shown that yet. Now let's dig deeper into Reese's comment about Courtney being too old. That wasn't just careless, it was deeply disrespectful. Courtney has proven her value season after season. Even at her age, she brings experience and vision that younger players simply can't replicate. To dismiss her outright is not just inaccurate, it's insulting to the very idea of what veterans bring to the game. Reese might think she's being honest, but in reality, she's just revealing her own immaturity. And think about the message this sends. If you're a veteran considering joining the Sky, and you hear the team's young star publicly dismiss older players, are you signing up? Probably not. And that's how locker rooms rot from the inside. Winning requires trust. If Reese keeps undermining that trust, Chicago will never get the great players she says she wants around her. Courtney's clapback wasn't loud or dramatic, it didn't need to be. It was calm, confident, and rooted in her proven track record. That's why it landed so hard. Because everyone knows Courtney has earned the right to speak, Angel Reese hasn't. When Courtney says she's coming back better than ever, people believe her. When Reese says the team needs better players, people just roll their eye. That's the credibility gap, and Reese has a long way to go to close it. The fan reaction to this whole saga tells its own story too. Courtney's fans respect her, admire her career, and genuinely want to see her succeed. Reese's fans, they attack anyone who criticizes her, going personal, going low, and dragging conversations into the gutter. That reflects poorly on Reese, whether she wants it to or not. If you build your brand on conflict, don't be surprised when your fan base mirrors that exact energy. It's also worth noting how Reese has been compared to Draymond Green, and honestly the comparison fits. Technical fouls, confrontations, suspensions, constant drama. It's the same playbook, but here's the huge difference. Draymond has 4 NBA championships to back it up. Reese doesn't. Without wins, the antics just look like immaturity, not passion. And let's not ignore the bigger picture. The WNBA itself. The league is finally seeing massive growth, finally getting mainstream attention, and finally drawing bigger crowds. And who's at the center of? Caitlin Clark. She's the magnet. Reese benefits from that spotlight, but instead of leveraging it positively, she's using it to create headlines for all the wrong reasons. The league doesn't need more distractions right now. It needs stability. Courtney's decision to respond publicly was calculated. She didn't need to defend herself, but she did because she knows silence sometimes gets twisted. By speaking directly, she shut down speculation and showed she's not intimidated by younger players trying to push her aside. It's a powerful reminder that the WNBA still values veterans who carry themselves with class. Meanwhile, Reese is at risk of alienating not just teammates, but the league itself. If she continues on this path, her career could follow the same trajectory as players who bounced from team to team until they were completely out of the league. That's not a prediction, but it's absolutely a warning. You can't fight everyone and expect to thrive. At some point, the basketball just has to speak louder than the drama. Now let's revisit the Caitlin Clark comparison one last time. Clark is in her second year, just like Reese. But the difference in perception is massive. Clark is seen as the future of the league, a player who can carry a franchise and bring fans into arenas. Reese is seen as a polarizing figure who generates headlines for all the wrong reasons. Both are talented, yes, but only one is setting herself up for long-term success. Chicago truly has a decision to make. Do they keep catering to Reese, hoping she matures into the star they desperately want? Or do they cut their losses and trade her before her value completely tanks? Either way, Courtney Vandersloot's comments highlight this critical crossroad, because if Reese can't respect legends like Courtney, why should anyone believe she'll respect the team, the league, or the game itself? And that's exactly why this whole saga matters so much. It's not just about one suspension or one comment, it's about the culture of a team, the direction of a franchise, and the future of a player who could either be a cornerstone or a cautionary tale. Courtney Vandersloot didn't just put Angel Reese in her place. She reminded everyone that respect has to be earned, not demanded. Courtney Vandersloot fired back, and the message was crystal clear. Legends don't take cheap shots lying down. Angel Reese might have thought she was speaking her truth, but all she really did was expose her immaturity. Now it's your turn. Do you think Reese can rebound from this mess? Or is she spiraling out of control? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more takes.